The little girl dropped her ice cream when she saw the fear in the young woman's eyes. It happened so fast that most people in the crowded mall didn't notice. But Daniel did. Daniel Harper, 32, single father of a 6-year-old whirlwind named Lily, had learned to read rooms the way other men read newspapers. After his wife passed away 3 years ago, survival had sharpened his instincts. He noticed trembling hands, forced smiles, eyes that begged for help. And the 20-year-old woman standing near the escalator was definitely begging. She stood between two men who looked at least a decade older than her. One gripped her elbow too tightly. The other kept scanning the crowd. She looked polished, long brown hair, pale blue dress, a small purse clutched like a shield. But her eyes were glossy, panicked. Then she did something strange. She caught Daniel's gaze, and slowly raised her hand. Palm out, thumb tucked in, fingers folding over it. A silent signal. Daniel froze. He had seen it once before in a parenting blog, a distress signal for someone in danger. A sign used by victims who couldn't speak. His heart slammed against his ribs. Daddy, Lily whispered, clutching his leg. Why are you staring? Because someone needs help. Daniel's mind raced. What if he was wrong? What if he embarrassed an innocent woman? What if the men were her friends? But then her eyes filled with tears, and she gave the signal again, smaller, quicker this time. That was enough. He took Lily's hand and walked toward them, forcing a warm smile. Emily, he said loudly, pretending recognition. Oh my gosh, it's been years. The men stiffened. The girl's breath hitched. I'm sorry, she stammered. Daniel stepped closer, lowering his voice. You left your phone at the cafe, he said gently. Your sister's looking for you. The man gripping her arm tightened his hold. You've got the wrong person. Daniel laughed lightly. No, I don't. Mrs. Thompson from Oak Street. You babysat for us. Lily talks about you all the time. Lily, confused but trusting her father, nodded enthusiastically. Yeah, you gave me candy. The young woman's eyes widened. She understood. Oh, she whispered. Right, Oak Street. The second man stepped forward. She's with us. Daniel's voice changed, firmer now. Actually, she's not. He turned slightly, making sure other shoppers could see them. Emily, your mom's waiting outside. The girl swallowed hard. I should go. The man holding her arm leaned closer, his voice dropping to a hiss. You don't want to do this. Daniel felt a flicker of fear. He wasn't a fighter. He was an accountant who packed school lunches and cried during animated movies. But Lily's tiny hand was in his, and that gave him courage. He raised his voice. Is there a problem here? A few heads turned. The men exchanged a look. Crowds were dangerous for people who didn't want attention. One of them forced a smile. Misunderstanding. Daniel gently took the girl's free hand. Come on, Emily. For a second, everything held still. Then the man released her. The two men walked away without another word. The girl collapsed into quiet sobs. Daniel guided her toward a bench near a security kiosk. Lily hugged her without hesitation, small arms wrapping around her waist. I'm Lily, she said proudly. Don't cry. The girl laughed weakly through tears. I'm Ava, Ava explained between shaky breaths. She had moved to the city 2 months earlier for college. A part-time modeling offer had seemed exciting, until the agency began pressuring her into private events. When she refused, they threatened to expose photos they'd taken at her first shoot. Today, they told her she owed them money. They said she didn't have a choice. When Daniel walked into the mall, she had been searching for someone safe, someone kind. He had looked like a dad. Safe. Security arrived. Police were called. Ava filed a report with trembling hands, but this time she wasn't alone. Daniel stayed. He missed Lily's favorite cartoon marathon that afternoon. He canceled grocery shopping. He ignored the creeping worry about being late on rent again. Because someone needed him. Over the next weeks, Ava's situation unraveled into something darker. The agency had targeted multiple young women. There were threats, fake contracts, manipulation. Daniel found himself driving Ava to the police station more than once. He brought Lily along sometimes, turning heavy days into ice cream stops afterward. But challenges followed. Anonymous messages appeared on Ava's phone. Daniel's car tires were slashed one night outside his apartment. Fear crept in again. Maybe I should just drop it, Ava said one evening, sitting at Daniel's tiny kitchen table. They said they'll stop if I stay quiet. Daniel looked at Lily coloring on the floor. He remembered staying quiet when his wife first felt sick, thinking it was nothing. He remembered wishing he had fought harder for more tests, more opinions. Silence protects the wrong people, he said softly. Not this time. Ava chose to testify. The weeks before court were brutal. She couldn't sleep. She jumped at shadows. Daniel struggled too, balancing overtime at work, parenting, and supporting someone he barely knew a month ago. People talked. A single dad, involved, with a 20-year-old girl raised eyebrows. Daniel ignored it. Kindness didn't require explanations. The day of the hearing, Ava nearly backed out. In the hallway outside the courtroom, her hands shook uncontrollably. I can't, she whispered. Daniel knelt in front of her, just like he did when Lily scraped her knee. Look at me, he said gently. You were brave enough to raise your hand that day. This is just the next step. Lily squeezed Ava's fingers. Do the brave thing, she said seriously. Daddy says brave doesn't mean not scared. Ava smiled through tears. She walked into that courtroom and told the truth. Months later, the agency was shut down. Arrests were made. Other girls came forward. What started as one silent signal became a chain reaction of courage. But the story didn't end there. Ava struggled with guilt and trauma long after headlines faded. She changed majors, switching from fashion marketing to social work. She wanted to help girls like herself. Daniel faced his own transformation too. For years after his wife's death, his world had shrunk to survival. Work, home, Lily, repeat. Helping Ava forced him to open the door again, to connection, to community, to purpose beyond grief. One evening, nearly a year after the mall incident, Ava stood on a small stage at a campus awareness event. I was almost invisible, she told the audience. But one man saw me. Not because he had to. Not because he knew me. But because he was paying attention. Daniel sat in the third row, Lily asleep against his shoulder. Ava found his eyes. All it took was someone brave enough to pretend they knew my name. The room rose in applause. Daniel felt tears blur his vision. Later that night, as he tucked Lily into bed, she asked, Daddy, why did that lady pick you? He thought about it. I don't think she picked me, he said softly. I think she hoped someone would see her. And I did. Lily nodded sleepily. We should always look for people who need help. Yes, Daniel whispered, brushing hair from her forehead. And when we see them, we don't look away. Because sometimes the smallest signal, a folded thumb, trembling fingers, can change the direction of many lives. Because courage spreads. Because one ordinary single dad and one frightened 20-year-old woman proved that paying attention can save someone. And sometimes, pretending to know someone, is exactly what helps them finally be seen.